This is Liz.
This is Jade.
And this is Carly.
And we're the Babes, covering all things babies, parenting, and women's issues. We're nowhere near experts, but we hope that you'll feel like you're gabbing with your best girlfriends as we share all of our TMI. And when a topic needs an expert, we promise that we're going to bring you the best.
Our podcast is an exclusive, no judgment zone. We welcome all moms, all parents, all caregivers, even those yet to be parents. We're diving into the nitty-gritty of real life. The highs, the lows, the tears, but also the joys and celebrations in this chaotic, beautiful, wouldn't trade it for the world stage.
If you hear a baby, like you're hearing right now, hello, Emerson, or a husband crying in the background during this episode, probably means we just corked a bottle, poured ourselves a glass of mommy juice, and are hiding in our closets. Oh, you too? Ha! Well, this is episode 14. Welcome to...
Babes and
Babies.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning. Are you all awake?
No.
Yes.
Liz, do you have pants on?
I did put pants on, but then I realized you guys can't even see me from the waist down, so there was no reason to. So.
Oh, yeah. That's a very, very good point.
But I realized, guys, I am becoming a coffee drinker. I think because I started working out again, and so I'm trying to wake up earlier, and now it's part of my routine. Because a while ago, I was like, I'm not really a coffee drinker. The last couple weeks, like almost every day, I'm like, I need coffee.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've converted you.
Join us.
I am, and I got to say, it's a good life.
Oh, it's the best.
Except for you guys. Okay, this is going to be way too much TMI. I don't even know if I should share it.
Uh-oh.
You have to poop more.
Well, drinking this coffee things definitely affect my bowels, and I sharted the other day.
I just don't feel like that's that weird. I feel like people are probably like, yeah, did that today.
Been there. No, but here's the thing is Jade said she never has, and I just don't understand people who have never, like, been through this.
I don't know. I've peed myself before in public.
But you were pregnant. You were pregnant, so you had an excuse.
I'm pregnant. But I've also had, like, a really embarrassing, like, period problem in public before when I was younger, but it was, like, completely embarrassing. But I've never sharted. I have not crossed that off my list.
I've done it. I did it at Christmas one time at my grandparents' house, and I told my brothers, you guys, I just farted and accidentally pooped my pants. And they love to bring it up all the time. Like, it'll never go away. They think it's the funniest thing ever, which, they've done that. But the fact that I did it is, like, such a big deal.
Right.
Zach and Ditton. Jerks.
Well, guys, speaking of all of this TMI, we're actually, this episode, we are doing a Q&A. A lot of our listeners had a lot of questions that they wanted us to answer. So we're going to be putting each other in the hot seats and answering all of your questions.
Oh, yes.
Rat-row.
We'll be spilling all the tea, as they say. Also, that's such a weird... I know. Is that like...
I've never heard that. I've never
Stop
heard
it.
that.
Oh, spill the tea.
I think that's like the cool thing to say now, you
No,
guys.
I want to say it now. I felt really cool when you said that. But I've never heard it.
Oh, maybe it's not as cool as I think.
Isn't that why there was that Kermit the Frog meme where he's just like sipping the tea because he's like, I'm just going to mind my own business over here or something.
Yeah.
And he's not spilling the tea, but he's secretly judging everybody. But he knows he has all the info and he's just like,
I love Kermit the Frog.
I'm not up to date, though, on, like, hip lingo. And I have to tell you, sometimes people say things I don't understand. And also in our mommy Facebook group, there's so many acronyms people use, and I have to, like, Google what they are. For a long time, I thought one of them was, like, they kept saying I'm a psalm. I'm like, okay, you studied wine. I get it. Like, and then it's
what does that mean?
SAHM. It's a stay-at-home mom.
Oh.
And everyone's like, yeah, I'm a psalm. I'm like, okay, I like, so many people here are psalms. I don't understand.
That's really funny. I had to look up VBAC. When you had said I did a successful VBAC, I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, it all makes sense now.
There's so much like hip lingo, mom lingo, and I just can't keep up.
Well, you're trying to bring back sick, which I think is so funny. Sometimes in our
my
group
gosh.
threads, you're like, sick.
That's so sick.
I feel like that's like in Clueless or something.
But I know, it makes me feel really old if we're trying to bring that back.
No,
I kind of love it.
I love it because I realized though I got it from my manager because he'll be like, I'll like say something. He's like, "That's sick." I'm like, "You got me saying it all the time now." But before we dive into the questions, I have some questions for you guys. Personally. First
All
of all,
right then.
Carly, you posted a video this week with your hair curly, and I love it.
God.
And I don't
Ew.
understand why you don't leave your hair curly sometimes.
Ew, no, never, ever. Because I feel like I'm living back in like the 1980s. I can't figure out how to even control it. It gets so much shorter when it's curly. Like it's like 2 inches shorter. I don't know. I've been fighting it my whole life. Like even in Paradise, like that's how curly my hair was. If I had just let it go, can you imagine?
I remember you had your hair extensions that weren't curly.
No,
and then
it was
your
the
hair
worst.
underneath was just curly.
And what's stupid is I had gotten like a relaxer and it like laughed at me while I was there. Like, and I kept telling Evan, I was like, I swear I'm prettier than this. Like, I swear when I get home and my hair is all like one texture, like not this part's curly, this part's straight, like you will think I'm prettier.
That weather down there doesn't do anybody justice, though. Although when I think back to our season that we were on together, everybody was this like hot mess. And then the next season, the show was more popular, and all the girls all of a sudden were wearing like full face makeup. And somehow some of their makeup stayed. I'm like, do you have glue on your face? Like, how is it not melting off?
They were walking around with makeup bags.
I was going to say.
Even before rose ceremonies and stuff, they would have makeup all the time. I would be like, "Ooh, can you hit me up with some of that?" And then like, because I would carry like a lip gloss with me, like for rose ceremonies. But I mean, bags of makeup. And I mean, they would go up to fix their makeup all the time. It was unbelievable to me.
That sounds like too much work.
It's so much work, but they all looked gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Yes.
I mean, they did a good job. They knew
did.
what they were doing. But yes, I just hate my hair curly. I just don't feel pretty with. I also don't feel pretty with short hair. So I know it's really bad. But
I told you come get extensions with me.
I know. I said that to Evan the other day. I was like, I think I'm gonna get extensions with Jade. And he's like, no. I was like, so I'm gonna probably do it anyway.
I love your short hair. And actually, Carly, your haircut is like super cool right now. I've like within the last like couple of weeks, I've seen like 5 of my friends cut their hair like that.
I know it is cool, but like I just
some of them are single.
Oh,
it's not just for the moms. I think she said mom trend, right? And I said
No.
some of them are single.
I said lobs.
Oh, lobs.
Oh,
Lobs.
Jade knows a lingo we don't know. What is
Jade knows
what is
all
a
of this
lob?
lingo.
A long bob.
Oh,
a
my
lob.
goodness.
Oh, that's what I have, I guess.
Yes. I swear,
Like
though, Jade's always
Jennifer
known
Lawrence
all
haircut.
the terms. Jade knows all the terms all the time, I swear. Like, she's like,
Yeah, Jade's cooler than us.
she's just so smart. Remember,
That's
just
so
even growing
cool.
up, she always like, we'd be talking about something. She'd be like, oh, yeah, did you know that in ancient times, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why do you know this information?
Yeah, she does that. She definitely does that. She's like, I just like to do research, guys. Which she does.
That is true.
It's true, yeah. I've heard you say it a lot. I'm like, how do you know this? Oh, I just researched it. Like, what?
I'm a nerd. I don't know.
No, it's fantastic. Also, my update of this week, besides my hair was curly, which
Your
you're
mouse.
probably going to ask me, there's mice in our house, you guys. And I was sitting in bed and I was feeding Bella the other day and I saw something move out of the corner of my eye and I thought it was Huck. Nope, it was a mouse. So I obviously picked up my phone. I was like, I have to document this because it's hilarious because I'm going to make Huck like chase this mouse, right? So then while I'm doing that, I'm like, well, I need to go get the cat. And I see Nathan, who's 16, run around the corner, and he's about to go downstairs, and he's holding the cat. And I'm like, bring that cat in here. And he's like, no, there's a mouse in my bathroom. So then I'm like, oh, my God, we have 2 mice at the same time running around this house. So Evan is at the gym while this is happening, and I'm texting him. I'm like, there are 2 mice. And he's like, oh, my gosh, that's so adorable. I'm like, this is disgusting. So
You're like, my child lives here.
I know. So then, like, I don't know, 15 minutes later, he, like, walks in, and he, like, Evan's, like, been working out a lot now, so he's getting, like, muscles. And so
he looked
like,
good. He looked good when he's, like, standing there flexing. I was like, wow, he's got some guns.
No, he looks really great. And so he, like, pulls up his arms. He's like, did someone call an exterminator? Like, while he's flexing. I'm like, you're so stupid. And then they proceeded to Instagram the whole thing, and they caught the mouse, and we set it free.
It was so cute.
Wow.
It was quite the ordeal, but it was hilarious. Like, he was trying to catch it with, like, dairy-free cheese because he was like, this is so funny, which it was funny. Yeah, the whole thing was hilarious. But we have to call an exterminator today because we have not caught the second mouse, you guys. And whereas there's a second, there's probably a third and a 20th and a 30th.
Yes.
And where there are mice, there usually are snakes.
That's
Disgusting.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Because
Well, we have,
snakes
like-
eat the mice, so they'll go
Yeah.
where they are.
So maybe I need to get more snakes. It's possible.
Maybe
Oh,
you
little
need pet
Emmy.
snakes.
Maybe I need some snakes.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I was gonna ask you. You said that Evan's been traveling a lot for work. Are you still using
Yes.
the night nurse at all, or are you doing it on your own, or
so-
how's that going?
I have been using her, like, when Evan goes out of town, I use her those nights because that's time that I can actually get things done.
Mhm.
Like, Caitlin came over one night and recorded her podcast, and I was like, okay, just wait till the night nurse comes so then we can have time to do it. And just because, I'm with her all day, and then it's just nice to get a few hours of sleep. She is sleeping better, though. So I told Evan, I was like, okay, next month I don't think we're going to need her anymore because now she's only waking up, like, once at night as opposed to, like, 20 times at night.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I think we're just going to probably use her for the next couple weeks because Evan's not going to be traveling in the next month. And then we will probably just use her to be a babysitter,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
like for date nights.
How is it with Evan gone though?
It's a lot. Bella's better than she was, but she, babies always like regress back to doing things that they used to do. And so for the past like 3 days, she's had these like screaming, crying fits. And what's crazy is, and Evan has been here for those, but she wasn't doing them when it was just me and her. And then Evan came home and she's like acting out. And I'm like, what is this? It's so bizarre. And what's so funny, he doesn't listen to these, so it's okay, is he used to be the person that's like, give me her, I'll calm her down. And now he's like, I don't know what to do. And so now, like, I'm the person that's like, give her to me, I'll calm her down, which is so weird. We have done a total role reversal.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
She's probably just used to the routine of you and her now. So when Evan's
Yeah.
home, no offense to him, she's probably like, oh, this isn't normal. Like, this is new again.
Yeah. And because when Evan's home, we take her out and do things more.
Yeah.
And she's more like, she doesn't sleep during those times. So I think she gets like overstimulated or overexhausted. And then she's just like, she needs to sleep, but she doesn't want to do it. And I can get her to sleep pretty easily.
That's what I found out with Emmy. Like, those like hysterical screaming like fits are usually just when she was overtired and like she just couldn't take it anymore. And then it just comes out. That's probably what's happening. It's probably what's happening.
And it's like a wind-up toy. Like, it's like, and you're like, what is this? It's crazy.
Or if it looks like they're about to cry and their face is all like in the screaming position, but nothing's coming out, the next like 5 seconds are just going to be the biggest, loudest shrill. Like, Emmy has had like ear-shattering screams.
I mean, Bella's are getting They're getting pretty intense. And she knows that if she screams, you'll give her attention. She's like getting to be like smart now. And so she'll be like, wah! And then she'll look at you and smile. And I'm like, you are a faker. You are a little faker. It's so funny.
I feel like it's weird how they learn at a young age. Like they have fake cries, you know?
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it has to be signaling something, but like, how do they learn like so young to be like, you know,
I mean,
devious
so
little
funny.
creatures.
Yeah, her personality is definitely coming out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like survival, you know? They're like, I need attention, so I'm going to cry even if I don't like need something. It's still
That's
just that
true.
survival of like, pick
my
me up.
gosh. Can I tell you guys a sad
know.
story? I read I read this article about this guy who visited this orphanage in Africa, and he was so surprised. Like when he went in there, none of the babies were crying; they were so quiet. And he asked the lady, he was like, "I'm so surprised that none of the babies were crying." He's like, "How come they don't cry?" And she goes, "Well, they cry probably the first week that they're dropped off here, but then when they realize nobody's coming for them or coming to pick them up, they stop."
Oh, I can't handle that.
It's like that is your kid's like response is like, you know, they cry because they know that you're going to come, whether it's for comfort, whether it's for hunger, whether it's for whatever, you know. But isn't that so sad?
That's like really one of the saddest things I've ever heard. I'm like not an emotional person, and now that I have a kid, I actually do have emotions.
Yeah.
Now
for
that
sure.
I
Everything
have
makes you cry.
emotions now.
I do have them. I picked them up.
Yeah.
But
No, that almost makes me just like, I call it like nails on a chalkboard inside when I hear Emerson cry, and knowing that babies aren't crying, like hearing that story gives me that feeling that nails on a chalkboard, like mommy instinct. It's like,
oh yeah,
I want to help all the babies.
I know. Ugh.
I would love to adopt one day eventually, but
Can we talk about this real quick?
Yeah.
So I would love to adopt, but what is it about? Like, okay,
Men?
sorry, men out there, but what is it about? I'm making an assumption, but the majority of men that I have known do not want to adopt. And I know it's that spread my seed thing, but come on, guys. Like, if you have 3 kids of your own, what's wrong with adopting a 4th?
Right.
yeah.
Like, do you know does Evan feel that? No, Evan has an adopted child, kind of.
He does.
I mean, he is
Yes, his oldest is his ex-wife, her first marriage. It's their child. But, you know, he's been Evan since he's 2, so Evan doesn't even think that way. But
right.
I had this conversation with Evan in Paradise because I told him, which is so funny now because I got pregnant so easily, but I was like, hey, I think it might be hard for me to get pregnant. Would you consider adopting? And he was like, I would love to adopt. So, I mean, you know, if and when we ever have a second baby, or if and when we can't, that's definitely something I would consider doing, and he would as well.
Maybe that's because he's already had kids
I
too,
totally
you know?
think that's a huge part of it.
I'm counting on that with Tanner. Give us 3 biological kids, and then maybe he'll be soft enough to want to adopt.
Oh, totally.
I feel like it's different, like when, like maybe if they have the chance to have a conversation with somebody who has adopted or who is an adopted child, you know, because I have 2 adopted cousins. My aunt adopted one of my aunts couldn't have kids and adopted. My other aunt adopted her second child. So, and like, I don't know. I mean, obviously I've never thought of them as adopted cousins, you know, but
yeah.
I feel like it's just like such an amazing thing to be able to do. And I know like Vito and I have talked about it, but I know he just really wants biological children. And then he said, we'll have the conversation when we get there or when we have to, you know, but I don't know. It is, Jade, you're right. It's something with men, like, I don't know. But we're going to bring somebody on to talk about adoption, you know, so we can pick their minds about it.
Totally.
Yeah. And I know it's not all men, but I feel like the majority of men that I've known in my life have felt this way. So that's just just my experience.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
The majority of men in my life have felt the same. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you've listened to the show before, you've heard us talk about FrameBridge. You know they make it super easy and affordable to custom frame your favorite things, from prints and posters to the photos on your phone. But did you know that a custom frame photo from FrameBridge makes the perfect And best Mother's Day gift, it's ridiculously easy. Order in a few minutes and FrameBridge will send you a one-of-a-kind frame picture your mom will absolutely love. It's that perfect gift for your mom, and it's probably already on your phone.
So here's how it works. Just go to framebridge.com. Pick a great photo. The expert team at FrameBridge will frame it, send it straight to you. They can deliver it straight to your mom, too, for Mother's Day. It's so easy. You guys, you can preview your items online and frame them there. Choose your favorite or get free recommendations from their talented designers, too, because they have an amazing team. They will expertly frame your item in days, not weeks, you guys, or months, and deliver it your finished gift ready to hang. The best part, too, is instead of hundreds you're paying at a framing store, their prices start at $39 and shipping is free. Plus, our listeners get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use our code BABES. FrameBridge has thousands of 5-star reviews, so they offer a happiness guarantee. If for any reason you aren't 100% satisfied with your order, they will make it right.
So I used FrameBridge to get my boyfriend a housewarming gift, and I picked the designer's choice. So I let the designer pick out the mat and the frame. I gave them direction. I just said nothing too bright, nothing too crazy, something in white, black, or wood, and they sent me the perfect frame. It looks absolutely amazing, and he was so excited when he got it. So if you guys want to use FrameBridge, it is not too late to get your mom something, the perfect gift for Mother's Day. All you have to do is order a custom gift for any mom in your life, your mom, your friend's mom, your boyfriend's mom, and you can do it right from your phone. Go to framebridge.com and use the promo code BABES, and you'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code BABES. Framebridge.com, promo code BABES. Jade, how was your trip to New York?
It was good. You guys, we have been traveling so much this last month. I know. I think I have a break for a little bit, which is nice. But it was good. We took Tanner's mom and Tanner's sister kind of as our, like, nannies this trip, and it made it so much easier. Like,
That's
we were
great.
able to go. Yeah, we were able to go and have a drink on, like, the rooftop bar with Paul and Kate. Oh my gosh, you have some things to say today, girlfriend. But it just made it a lot less stressful, and we were able to enjoy our time. And she was with me pretty much all the time still, but when, like, if we were at dinner and she got fussy, Tanner's mom would just, like, take her and, like, walk her around really quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it just made it a lot easier. It was a lot of fun.
You gave me New York fever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's springtime there right now, and it was actually the first nice weekend. A lot of, like, New Yorkers were, like, telling us, so everybody was out, so it was, like, really energizing and just beautiful, and it felt like spring, but we took her. Did you guys see my Instagram story about the Met? How we took her to. So we took her to the museum. I'm sorry, you guys. She's just talking.
That's okay.
And laughing, yes. But we took her to the museum. What is that noise in the background?
Oh my gosh, I think it's a windblower.
It sounds like a cow.
It does sound like a cow.
Sorry. Anyways,
we
took her to. It's okay. We took her to the museum and to the Met, and which was a lot of fun. And we were there for a couple hours, and I needed to feed her, and I couldn't. All the bathrooms were so busy, and I couldn't find a family bathroom. And I was like, there has to be one in this whole museum that I can just go find and feed her in peace, because it was packed in there. And two separate people, one guy, when I asked him, all he did was go,
Stop it. It's so New York.
Literally, like this loudest, weirdest moan. And he said something in a very rude way that I didn't. He was like, where the carpet meets, go right. It's there. So there's no carpet.
God. Stop.
Yeah. And so then we went up to the information desk, and it was an elderly lady. And I've never been greeted with so much disgust and contempt for asking if there was a family bathroom to nurse my child.
Wait, what?
It was like embarrassing. Like, it made me want to cry almost, because I just didn't understand the coldness
That's so bizarre because, like, you would think they would be mad if you were doing it in public more so than being like, can I go do it in private?
Because that's what Tanner was like. He's like, just sit on this step and feed her. I'm like, you're not I know people do this, but I was like, for me, being somebody who people recognize, which we had already been recognized in the museum, I didn't want someone to come up to me and my boob be out.
Totally.
That makes me so mad.
I know. And I get that it's like it's a museum and whatever, and there's like, maybe it's just supposed to be like a snobby art thing or whatever, but you should be happy that I'm coming to support you and that the children of the future are here learning about art. Like,
totally.
This is the future of your museum, like staying afloat.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know? But it was pretty crazy. I haven't been met with the mommy shaming for nursing yet, really. It was awful. Like,
did you find a bathroom? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, well, she was even rude to Tanner's mom, is what I was going to say.
Wow.
Yeah, and I ended up just having to wait like 20 minutes in line to go sit in the bathroom and feed her on the toilet.
Oh my gosh. I fed Bella in a toilet stall the other day too. It's very odd feeding a child in a toilet stall.
I know. It's just like gross. You just feel gross.
So
you're like,
gross.
And there's a toilet there.
Yeah. And very like, you can't really move. I was trying to like bounce her and I was like, people are probably looking at my feet like, what is this girl doing in there?
I know, right?
Yeah. Goodness.
Man, that sucks.
That really does suck. I mean, but at least like the thing is people have been talking about it more and trying to like change that. And like, it's probably you sharing your story. There's other women who have felt that way and been treated that way, you know?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said, that they've had experiences like that. I just feel like, especially in New York, and some people comment, they're like, well, that's just New Yorkers for you. I'm like, well, is it? Like, why do people like take pride in being rude to other people, treat humans kindly?
I feel like New York is more of like a progressive place. Like, I feel like like, you know.
That's why I was like, that's why I was just so taken aback. And then I was like, there has to be a family restroom or a mother's lounge here, because it's New York City where it's the melting pot, right?
Where everything exists.
Yeah.
Weird.
I know.
So just know, when you go to the Met, feed your kid beforehand because they'll be rude to you.
Jade, so you posted recently your picture in Florida, and I want to tell you, you have a hot bod.
Dude,
those swimsuit pictures of you, I was like, damn, girl.
You have abs.
I feel like you've always had abs, right?
Yeah, she has always had abs, but she has them again.
I know, but it's deceiving, you guys. Like, there's abs there, but I still have the mommy skin. So if I sit down, it's like crepe paper.
Oh my gosh!
You know, like, here. I mean, I can show you guys. Like, there's still lots of.
Jade, anybody can do that.
No. Anybody can do that.
No, but it's like this mommy stretchy skin. So I'm really proud of my body, and I'm really proud that I've been like committing to it. But I still have, like, the skin just doesn't, at least for me, it's just, I don't think it's ever going back.
It can. It does take a lot of time, though. It's not, you know, like you said, it takes 9 months to make your baby. Or Carly, I think you said that it takes 9 months to go back. But your skin does take, like, a little bit longer. Like, it, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, skin. You can do it. Shall we dive into some of these questions, ladies?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it.
So one thing that I have been thinking of this week, because this is affecting my life, and I'm curious about y'all. Jenna, on our Facebook group, asked, how have your friendship dynamics changed being moms, Jade and Carly? Do you feel like your relationships have changed with friends who aren't moms? Liz, do you have any changes in your relationships with mom friends since you aren't a mom? I'm first of my friends to get pregnant, just thinking about how it might affect our family or our friendly dynamic. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, there is a switch that happens where, you know, like, once you become a mom, everything changes in your mind mentally. And friends that are single and don't have kids just don't know it yet. They just don't know what it feels like to be on that side. And so when like they're like, hey, let's just go out and do this, let's just go out and do that, and you're just like, I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's sometimes hard for them to like be like to fully understand it. There is kind of this thing there, but I do think it's fully possible to still. The good ones will still stick around. They'll still love you, and they're gonna love your baby. And they're like, the good ones will want to come over and sit on the couch and watch Netflix with you, or just go to Target and help you shop or whatever.
Yep.
Like, those are the good ones. So I guess that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I went out with two of my girlfriends who don't have kids like last week for dinner, and I brought Bella, and it was so nice being with them, but I felt really bad at one point because Bella was great through dinner, and then we went back to her apartment, and Bella started freaking out. I was like, you guys, I have to go. And they're like, dang, that's so sad. And they totally understood, but it was one of those things where I was like, wow, our relationship already is so different. I can't even hang out with them for as long as I want to. I can't drink, glasses of wine like I used to because I have to drive a child home. So I can't drink wine,
Right.
And then just, some of my friends haven't even met her yet. And it's just so interesting. I think, you do have to work. You almost have to work at it too. Like if you want those friends too, you have to be like, please come over, or can we please meet for lunch? Or, you have to work at those relationships as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Liz?
I was going to say on the other side of it, like, I feel like a lot of my friends, I feel like it's different now because we're in our 30s. So the majority of our friends.
Are you saying we're old?
No, I'm feeling like, I feel like when we were in our 20s and our friends started having kids, you know what I mean? Like, like you still kind of want to go out, and I'm sure there's people in their 30s that do too, but, I mean, a couple of my friends when I was in Vegas did have kids, and I know, like, if I wanted to spend time with them, I had to go over to their house. So, or meet them at a park where their kids could play, or, or I'd be like, hey, why don't I bring you lunch today and come over and sit and talk with them? So
totally.
I definitely do feel like it is more work on both parts, because I've also had, like, one of my mom friends who is one of my best friends. I love her. Be like, when are you going to come over? Like, we don't hang out, and then there's times where it's like, I don't know, sometimes it is an effort, or you just have to be in the mood. But, but like we did make time for each other. But I also feel like now, as I've said before, I'm kind of more of a homebody now anyways. I'd rather just like, bring food over and hang out and Netflix and do stuff like that. So I feel like as you get older, it's almost easier because most of your friends are either having babies or you're settling kind of down yourself, Yeah.
Totally.
So, but I agree with...
Have you guys... Oh, go ahead.
No, just to say, I agree with what you said, though, Carly. I mean, I think, or Jade, I think you were saying you'll keep in touch with the good ones. Like, you guys will still make time for each other,
Yeah.
Jade, it's our first Mother's Day. Oh, my gosh. This is so exciting. Also... one of my favorite things in the entire world is to get my mom Mother's Day presents. I think about it like all year. And I'm so excited because I have found one perfect gift to give my mom this year. And it is Sherry's Berry.
A gift from Sherry's Berry shows that you put thought into her gift. And your mom is going to love it, I swear. Right now, our listeners can send Sherry's Berries starting at $19.99 plus shipping and handling, or check this out. You can also double the berries for just $10 more. Your berries will arrive in Sherry's Berries signature gift box with a beautiful ribbon. No gift wrap is required.
These berries are so good, you guys. Fresh, juicy strawberries dipped in milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, all the goodness, then topped with rich chocolate chips, chopped nuts, and signature swizzles. You can choose your delivery date, and it's guaranteed. Customer satisfaction is always number one, or your money back. Who doesn't love chocolate-covered strawberries? It makes the perfect gift.
I have already eaten 4 because I might or may not have purchased some for myself. But there's only one way to get this amazing deal for mom. Freshly dipped strawberries starting at $19.99 plus shipping and handling. And remember, you can also double the berries for just $10 more. Mother's Day is May 13th. So visit berries.com today. That's BERRIES.com. Then click on the mic in the upper right-hand corner and enter the code BABES. That's berries.com, code BABES.
Have you guys seen the Netflix show The Letdown?
No,
but that just makes me think of breastfeeding.
Well, it is. So
okay.
it's a play on words. So it's a British show, I think, that just came out on Netflix. And it's about being a mom, and she's a first-time mom, and it's just all the it's like real mom storylines. And one of the storylines is she tries to go to dinner with her friend. It's her friend's birthday. Her husband has a business trip come up, so he can't babysit. The babysitter comes over. She's like terrified of the babysitter because it's like this weird dude. So she sneaks her baby into the dinner, and she's trying to hide the baby under her trench coat. And she's like, "Hi, everybody, thank you.
It.
Like I made it or whatever." And they're like, "Is that Stevie?" And then like the baby, and she's like, "Oh no, she's sleeping." And then she's like, "She's fine." The next thing, the baby's like,
oh my gosh.
And then they end up having dinner, and then all of her friends act like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna go home too. No drinks, no drinks." And then as she's leaving, she hears them making plans without her.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know, but it's a really good, relatable show. It's pretty funny. It's obviously exaggerated,
right?
But you guys gotta watch it.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But that made me think of that. So. All right, next question.
Next question. Okay, I have a question for Liz. Since you were talking about settling down, this is a lot of questions in one, but I feel like then you can just start talking and answer all of them.
Okay.
Emily wants to know more about your relationship. What brought you to Chicago? How'd you meet your man? Do you think you will get engaged? And then Bethany wants to know also, why did he abstain from having sex, your boyfriend? So
who is this mystery man?
Who is this mystery man?
So I actually met him through a mutual friend. It was my first time visiting Chicago like 2.5 years ago. And I was staying with a friend, and he was like, "You have to meet my friend Vito. You guys have so much in common." We were both like, he was a certified life coach, and I was going through my practice to get certified. So he's like, "You guys have so much in common, blah, blah, blah." Well, we didn't get to meet, but like we added each other on Facebook, and Vito wrote me. He's like, "Hey, I heard you're becoming a life coach. If you have any questions or anything, let me know." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, for sure." And then I kind of like blew it off. And then it was around Christmas time. So this was like a month later. I'm like scrolling on Facebook, and this guy posted this video being like a complete dork, like singing the dun 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 that Christmas song, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this hottie being a complete dork in his car singing Christmas songs? That's totally my jam. And it was him. So I wrote him, and I'm like, "Hey, when are we going to talk about life coaching?" And then and then we ended up FaceTiming that day. Or no, we didn't FaceTime. We talked that day for like 2 hours. And then I was
on
living,
the phone?
Yeah, and then...
oh, my gosh, that's so old school. I love it.
Well, he was in Chicago, but at that time I was living in Toronto. So then he was going to come visit me on New Year's Eve, and his flight got canceled because of the weather. And I woke up that morning to a text from him saying, "My flight got canceled, but I'm driving. I'm on my way." And that was like...
oh, my God.
Yeah, we went ice skating, and that was our first date, and it was so cute.
Oh, my God, that's so cute. Did you fall on him just like for the purpose of falling into his arms?
I wish, but I definitely fell for him. But we didn't start dating actually till a year later, because I lived in Vegas and he was in, Chicago, and distance is hard. So we ended up like kind of letting things fizzle out for quite a while, but then he realized how amazing I am, and he doesn't want to live without me. So
duh.
And then, so then we ended up getting back together, but I had told him that I wanted to leave Vegas and probably move to Chicago. So we got back together, but he was like, "We're only going to do this like if you really are going to move here." And I said, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Okay, you have to set a date right now. When are you moving?" So
wow,
I did. So that's how I met my boyfriend. We've been together a little over a year, officially. And do I think I'm going to get engaged? Yeah, one day. I hope I do.
So you guys haven't like talked about it or anything?
I mean, we've talked about future stuff, but I mean, we kind of have like a timeline in mind, but like, I'm trying not to think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the sex thing. So it's not like, so first of all, like we just really want to wait to have kids. We'd love to like get married. I love traveling. It's a huge part of my life. And he knows that. And so, and I'm really not good with any hormonal birth controls at all. And he's not into that either. It legit makes me psycho. And the only sure way of birth control is abstinence. So it kind of started as like, we just really don't want to have kids. And there's, you know, everybody's had like a scare in their life and then it ruins you forever. So, but it honestly turned into kind of like a spiritual thing. Like he and I, like one of our rituals that we do, like we love going to church on Sundays and like every like Sunday night, like we pray together for our week ahead and stuff like that. And so it definitely became like this spiritual thing that I feel like brought us closer together, and it forces you to get to know someone in a different way. Yeah. And so for us, it definitely is kind of like a combination of like our spiritual life and just really not wanting to have kids right now.
Yeah.
So,
is it like, is it super difficult though? Like, do you guys make out and then you're like, okay, we have to stop? I'm curious about this because I don't know that like I could stop it.
Right. No, it is definitely
I say
really
that
hard.
as a girl who hasn't had sex in like 8 months.
I know. No, I feel
Who
like
am I to talk?
I feel like it at first, yeah, but I definitely feel like it gets easier. But then I feel like I don't know, it is hard for sure. Like I'd say he's definitely way stronger than I am, 100%. So, but I don't know, like we enjoy doing other things with our relationship, you know, and it's definitely forced us to get to know each other in different ways, which I feel like we already did because we were long distance for so long. So we got to know each other. So,
oh yeah.
But,
yeah, you can't have sex over the phone. Actually, you can, but not in that way. I've never done that, by the way. Have you guys?
Yes.
Wow. I'm the only one here. I'm a phone sex virgin. Wow.
But like,
hey, at least I'm a virgin somewhere.
But like FaceTiming phone sex.
Wow.
Like just over the phone, not seeing each other. I have not done that because this to me is just kind of weird. I don't know.
It's too phone sex, girl.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Okay. What's next?
Very, very interesting. Okay, Jade. Speaking of Liz not wanting to have babies, Lexi wants to know, any more babies? Jade, when?
Now. That's such a hard question to answer because you never know when, there could be a whoopsie or whatever, but actually, or it could take a long time, but Tanner and I are low key trying. So I guess we're not trying to,
Yay!
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of whatever happens because we want to have our kids close in age, but I still don't have a cycle yet.
Oh, okay.
So I can't track, so I can't track my ovulation.
So does that mean you'd have to stop breastfeeding? Doesn't that, I don't know.
It doesn't, it's not,
I don't know how this works.
It's not a way of actually preventing pregnancy. You can still get pregnant while you're not cycling or while you're breastfeeding. It's not like it's going to prevent it. Uh-huh. So we're kind of counting on that, but it depends. I saw in our Facebook group that somebody asked about it, and some ladies have said they got their period back anywhere between like 3 to 6 months, and some of them was 15 months.
Whoa.
So yeah. So we'll see. I don't know.
That's very exciting. That makes me excited.
I feel more vulnerable this time because last time it was like Tanner and I was just like, oh, let's just start trying. It'll be fun. And it took us like 4 months to get pregnant. And so I felt like that was pretty easy because we were just kind of relaxing. And it was actually like 2 months of actually, here's my ovulation, let's do it.
Yeah.
But this time, because I don't have a cycle, I feel like I'm a little bit afraid that I can't get pregnant this time. So I don't know. It's
I get that.
It's different this time around. I don't know.
I know my brother and his wife are trying again. And she, I think, is going to try to stop breastfeeding because she said it helps her chances.
I think it probably does
I don't
help
know
your
if
chances.
she's gotten her period yet or not. I have no idea.
Yeah, but it also you also still can get pregnant while breastfeeding.
Gotcha. Man.
Yeah.
Carly, since Jade didn't really have time to pack too much of a hospital bag because she went so quickly.
No.
But you said that you overpacked. So what do you
yeah.
think would be like your must-haves? Like what were you so glad that you brought to the hospital with you?
You know, this is such a dumb thing, but lots of the things I brought were like to make me feel good. Like I brought a nightgown that I like when we went into our regular room. I had this like nightgown with a robe that matched that I wore the whole time because it was super easy to just like when people walked in, I could put the robe on and feel like I kind of was put together. I could just pull it up to go to the bathroom. I also brought a battery candle that we used at night so that there was like light, but it was like soft light, you know, like it made me feel really calm and zen-like.
Yeah, I like that.
And then I did bring some makeup, but I didn't actually end up really using it until the last day when I wanted to take pictures. And then there were things that I packed that I definitely didn't need. Like a lot of things I actually didn't need. But most of the things were like kind of for me. I even brought like a room spray, like an oil room spray that I sprayed that, I don't know, just made the room not smell like a hospital room. Just silly things like that aren't the necessary, like, I mean, obviously you need an outfit for your baby, which my outfit was way too big. So maybe bring a couple sizes. I liked having options, but, and then comfy clothes to go home. And I remember, Jade, you had said, bring like sweatpants to go home in. And that was, I mean, you need that. Actually, when I got home, that's what I lived in. I lived in like sweatpants and like oversized shirts.
Yeah, because I had a major fail with that because I bought this really cute pajama romper from Anthropology and it was so pretty and I was like, I'm going to go home in this romper and I'm going to feel so pretty and I'm going to be a new mom and I'm going to be taking my baby home. You know, I had like this super like idealistic, romanticized vision.
Yes.
And then it was so hard to take on and off and I really hurt like because I mean I had a lot of like I was a lot of soreness still going on.
Yeah.
And it was slow walking for me getting out of the hospital. And it was just like so uncomfortable to take on and off over my belly and pulling it back up and everything. And I was like, this is a disaster. Why didn't I just wear sweatpants? All I want is sweatpants.
Yeah.
So I told you, I was like, Carly, just trust me. Just
I know.
go home.
You were right.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can be cute sweatpants, but you're definitely and you're going to have like, basically a diaper on. So like you don't want to be walking out in like something tight because then you're going to look like you have like the biggest butt in history.
Yeah.
That's also one thing you don't need to bring is like pads or like anything because they'll have all of those things.
Yeah.
And like, even if you need more, they're like, hey, do you need anything to take home? Which is really helpful.
Did you say that did you bring your own pillow?
I brought my own pillowcase and I did bring my own pillow, but I didn't use it until like we got into our own room that wasn't the delivery room because I was like, let's not get blood all over my pillow. Like that might be a little gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was super helpful too. And and I brought like a little bitty blanket because I get freezing. And that was helpful. Yeah. But it was just like, I don't know, things to make me feel like I was kind of like at home and calmer.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know?
Those are all the things that I tell people to pack too. Even the candle things. And if you have the music
they have
playlist.
this stuff for babies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't care about music. Evan wanted music and I was like, no, it's stressful.
I had a playlist, but because like I was already at like 9 in intensity when I got to the hospital, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
Tanner
you don't care.
Remember. Tanner didn't remember, so yeah.
Gosh, Jade, I still can't believe you did that. Oh my gosh, you're so brave.
It was, I mean, everyone can do it, I feel, you know.
Yeah. And socks. Whoa.
Bring socks?
Why is my phone ringing? My feet were freezing, so I brought a bunch of socks.
Socks. I put socks and slippers on my list, like either one.
Oh, yeah. Slippers are good for walking up and down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me socks with little, like, those little rubber things at the bottom, so you don't slip.
I did not get those.
So Kelly asks for both you ladies, like, what is a way that you guys kind of reassured yourself that you can do this and you're the best possible mom for your baby? Especially in those like first, the first couple weeks getting used to it and adjusting to it. Like, how did you guys be like, okay, I can do this?
Gosh.
I just think you just do it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't really like motivating myself as in like, I can do this or whatever. It was just like, it's such a fog that you're just like, you're just going through it. And you just know there's a light at the end of the tunnel kind of feeling because you're tired. You're learning everything new. Your partner's learning everything new. Your baby's learning everything. So it's just like, you're just trying to get through it, I feel. So just know that you're gonna get through it. But I really didn't have like, you're doing a good job, Jade. Like, it was just like, no. I am surviving.
I think that moment of like, I'm the best mom for my child comes later because now, let's see, Bella's like 2 months and like 3 weeks old. Now I feel like I know her. She knows me. I get her. I mean, not all the time, but now I feel like I am totally the best mom for this child. But yeah, at the beginning, you just don't think that because everything is new and everything is really hard. Like, you don't know how to calm your baby down. You don't know what they need. You're trying to breastfeed and it's hard. You're trying to sleep and you can't. Like, and it's all hard. And every day you're just like, okay, tomorrow will be a better day. And if it's not, then maybe the next day will,
Yeah, I feel like it was just like instincts took over. It was almost like instinct autopilot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you just kind of go with it.
Right.
Because, I don't know. Because I like knew I was being a good mom in a way. I was like, I'm being the best mom I can be.
Right.
But it wasn't like I was thinking, like I was like motivating myself. It was just instinct autopilot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. At least for me.
Carly.
Yes.
So one of our listeners, Kendra, asked, how do you deal with being a stepmom?
What's crazy is, I mean, Evan and his kids have always just totally welcomed me. I mean,
that's
awesome. From day one, they were so excited that their dad had found someone, and we had breakfasts and did all these fun things together. And I think it's just these kids have always made it so easy for me to be a part of their family. So it hasn't been difficult because I know that some people struggle with like, oh, their kids don't like me or like trying to figure out their place. But I think that all I can say is his kids are so good. And they're so respectful and kind that it's just, I've lucked out because it's just been super easy. I also think having Bella has made us more of like a family unit.
Yeah.
They love her like so much and are so excited that they have a sister, and it kind of bonds me to them more because of it. So I don't necessarily know how I deal with it. It's just kind of, it just is like an everyday thing. I just have kids now, and
right.
And that, lots of things change in your life because of that. But you also, if you're going to marry someone with kids, that going in,
right.
It's like an acceptance thing. Okay, well, date nights aren't going to be as often, or, I'm not going to have all of the attention that I once had. We do have the kids 50% of the time. So we do have like a week where we have the oldest one lives with us all the time, but the other two live with their mom half time. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just it's just kind of a life choice that you just say, okay, I'm going with it. And then your life becomes a lot about soccer and, macaroni and cheese for dinner. Yeah. I did tell Evan, I was like, because I'm gluten-free and dairy-free. And so I was like, okay, Evan, I know that your kids like to eat a certain way, but I can't just like walk around this way, this like dinner anymore and be like, okay, I guess I'll figure out something for myself, So I was like, we need to start cooking healthy food for us, and then the kids can have what they want because they won't eat healthy food. Right. They're still like all American. So last night we made salmon and broccoli and brown rice. So we're going to start cooking healthy things for us to eat.
That sounds delicious.
Awesome. Which I'm excited about. Okay, Liz, I have a question for you. Bethany again asked, what inspired you to become a doula?
That's a great question. So I was posting on my Instagram story earlier this week about how the maternal death rate in the United States is rising. So women going into labor and laboring in hospitals are dying more and more in the United States, whereas in other high-income nations, it's actually decreasing. And I wrote a paper about this almost 10 years ago. I did hospital birth versus home birth, which is like more natural methods versus like more medical intervention methods. And I'm not saying like I'm an advocate for one over the other at all, but that brought up tons of different research showing these statistics of women who were having emergency C-sections. At the time I was in Vegas, we had the highest C-section rate in the country. It was 40%. That's almost half of women going into labors. And then we know with women who have C-sections, they usually have another one. And that increases your percentage for like having your placenta rupture and like the chances of like more increased risk of infection or different things happening, and more medical intervention. And then I, began to research it more and saw that, with the use of doulas, women have a 28% decrease in the risk of having a C-section. So I'm like, what is this whole doula thing? And, I found out you're basically a labor supporter. So when a woman has somebody to support her continuously through labor, all these risks go down, because it's just somebody that's there by your side the whole entire time. So I just started to become really passionate about it. My friends started to have babies, and I wanted them to be healthy. I wanted them to enjoy their birth experiences. I understand like things happen. I'm so thankful for Western medicine, for the women who want to get an epidural. Like, that's awesome. Go for it. I'm so thankful for, the things that we do have at hand. But there is a lot of intervention that simply does not need to be there. And the statistics show it. Like, why are more women dying in the United States and overseas and in other high income nations? The percentage is decreasing. Why is that happening? So that's what made me want to become a doula, to be part of an education system that works with pregnant women, to have them do their own research, to find these statistics for themselves and to figure out what kind of birth they want to have, or just even to know their options going into it. And also, cool thing happened. Now in New York, there's Medicaid. They're starting initiatives to have Medicaid covered doulas, because it's such it's cheaper to pay for a doula than it is to pay for all these medical things. And when you have a doula, most of those medical things decrease. So the government and people, in our system are starting to recognize the need for it and to see that this actually works. So it's really cool. I was super excited this week to see that, because then it also offers it to women who maybe couldn't afford one, and want that. And those actually are the women who are usually higher at risk for the maternal death rate increasing. So,
wow.
Yeah. So if you do want a doula, you can always check with your insurance company, because more and more insurance companies are starting to cover it. And I think New York is starting the Medicaid, and I think there's 2 other states. So Yeah, I just got really passionate about birth. As you can tell, I'm like out of breath talking about it because I get passionate and worked up. And then Vito makes fun of me because he's like, you did not take a breath. And then I'm like, but just, I mean, I just feel like it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing for women to carry the seed of life and to pass that on. And there's just something that's like not right going on. So I just wanted to be a part of that system to help educate women and be a part of the birthing process. Like, watching life come into this world is the most mind-blowing thing, and I could do it all day long. So that's why.
I could say that because you were supposed to be my doula.
Yeah.
And then Emerson came early, and it was so sad that I remember that was like one of the first things I told Tanner. I was like, Liz isn't going to be here. I was like grieving that process. But
next time I got you.
I know. But I do think that, like, I mean, I had a good birth experience, but it was very just like adrenaline based. It would have been nice to just have you there to slow me down and to like relax me and everything. I feel like that would have I don't know. I just wish that would have been part of my experience. And I feel like that's something that a doula can do.
Absolutely. We do that.
We do.
We do.
Okay, Jade, I have some questions for you. I'm kind of putting two questions together. They're both from Amanda, but I don't know if this is the same Amanda. I'm not sure. Okay.
What up, Amanda's? Amanda.
So this says, have you gone on any date nights since Emerson was born? And also the other one, I'm putting this with that. How do you deal with mom guilt? Because sometimes moms go out and then they feel guilty about it.
The mom guilt thing is pretty much like a 24/7 thing. Everything, anything that I try to do for myself, I feel guilty. Or anytime, like I just put Emerson in her crib for 5 minutes, and I heard her screaming, and because I need to do this podcast, and I heard her up there, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't, because the mom guilt kicked in. I was like, I gotta just go get her. I can't just leave her by herself. I'm that person, but Tanner and I have gone on a couple dates because we try to make it a priority. Yeah. So I feel like Emerson was like 10 weeks old the first time we went on a date. It was just a movie, and his mom came over, and that's kind of what we do. We try to do it at least, I'm going to say we try to do it at least twice a month where we actually have like a date. Yeah. And it's nice. It's nice for that 3 or 4 hours just to get out to like just be us and reconnect. And yes, we do. We talk about Emerson, and I think about her constantly. Yeah. And I'm texting his mom, send me pictures. What is she doing?
Oh my gosh, it's cute.
But it's still like, I feel like it's so important to just do it. So if you are having that mom guilt, but you like need to have that time with your partner, go anyways, and just know that they're going to be okay. And when you get home, they're going to be so excited to see you, and you can get those snuggles in, and it'll all be worth it. But I understand that it's hard. It's hard to get out of the house when you have your little nugget at home and you know what's best for them. And it's hard to detach yourself from that person and leave your little baby behind. But that's something that Tanner and I, when we first got pregnant, we talked about, that we were going to always try to make that a priority.
Yeah. Do you still make yourself a priority? Someone, B asks,
hey, babe,
how do you make time for yourself? Do you still find time for yourself?
That one's harder.
I mean, Tanner works a lot.
Yeah.
Like, he's constantly at work.
He works like 50 hours a week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, honey, I know. It's like little things. Like, honestly, earlier, Emerson was sleeping in the car, and I was just sitting in the car, and I just played my favorite music, and I was just like listening to it and just kind of like dancing a little bit in the car, and that's like my me time. Yeah. Like sometimes it's just that. Yeah. And I'm like this, I'm like reconnecting with something that's important to me, which is like my playlist. I love music. Yeah. And sometimes it's just that, because you guys, I don't even really get like a bath or a shower in privacy anymore.
I just want to come over and be like, hey, Evan, watch our kids, and Jade and I can shower.
Yeah. For real,
Tanner's
though.
at work. Evan, do it.
Yeah, so, but I did get my hair done, and that was kind of like my big me thing. I told Tanner, I was like, I really need this trip. And Emerson went with me, but just getting my hair done just felt, it felt like the first big treat for myself, and that was really nice. So treat yourself every once in a while if you're not taking care of yourself, because I really think there is some truth in that when you take care of yourself, you're able to take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
Because if you're mentally down about yourself and you don't know who you are anymore, which is perfectly normal because I have those feelings a lot, but just doing it, just push the anxiety and the fears aside and do it, because you'll thank yourself.
I think it's interesting. I remember my best friend Heather said to me one day, she was like, Carly, you'll be amazed at how a trip alone to the grocery store after you have a baby will like rock your world.
It's my favorite thing.
And I'm like, you know, there's times where I'm like, Evan, can I just run to the grocery store because I need 30 minutes by myself? And he's like, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, go. But like, sometimes that is your me time, you know? And then I find myself almost rushing because I'm like, oh gosh, I have to get home, you know? Or I'll be like, hey, Evan, can I like have an hour to go do me time? And then I end up doing things like going to the grocery store, going to the baby store to get this thing, or, you know, and then I'm like, oh, I don't really have anything else to do. I guess I'll go home. Like, you know, my me time I hate getting my nails done. Like things like that. Yeah. I used to do it because it does look a lot better, but I actually hate doing it. So the things that I used to do, I'm like, I don't even want to do that anymore. It's just, no. So, yeah, it's funny how like your me time ends up being like, oh, I need to get home.
Right.
But Evan, I do get a bath every night. I make sure that Evan lets me have a bath. But my baths only last like 5 minutes because I make them too hot. But I do get one.
I do the same. I make mine way too hot.
And I can't even stay in it.
Somebody asked, how do I deal with snarky comments from friends and family for like not being married yet and not having a baby?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like nobody in my family makes snarky comments. I've always been a pretty independent person, and like thankfully, like nobody's been like, oh, when are you getting married? I feel like I get that more from people I don't even know. Like, I get that from people that are like, oh, well, how old are you? And I'm like, 31. Like, oh, you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how long have you been together? Well, when are you going to get married? And I'm like,
yeah,
you don't know me, okay? But
go away, people.
Also, my parents already have 12 grandchildren. And they know I want kids. They know, like, I'm on that path. I think that the only thing is, I've had some crazy adventures in my life, so I feel like my parents they'd feel really good knowing that, like, I'm taken care of. You know, I think that that's the only thing. They're like, please just marry her so we don't have, like, you can worry about her now and we don't have to. But,
yes.
like, I feel like they'd probably give me away to anyone at this point who would watch
That's
over
how
me.
I felt. And then Evan came along and I was like, oh. They loved him, so that was good. But I was like,
Perfect.
I think they'll just marry me off to anybody at this point.
Right. But I feel like it's more just so that they know that I'm taken care of, not that they're like, when are you getting married? You're 31. You know, I don't think it's anything like that. So I feel like it's pretty, like, thankfully I don't get snarky comments from family or anything like that, which is really nice.
That is very nice.
Yeah. Somebody asked if you're still breastfeeding, Carly.
So I am not producing enough to actually feed her anymore. Only one of my boobs actually produces milk at all. I gave up on my right boob. Did I tell you guys this? I completely gave up on my right boob. You said that you were going, you said you kind of came to peace with it. I came to peace with it. So now I'm still not producing. Yeah. R.I.P. boob. Enough in my left. So I have to do formula and breast milk. So I want to start, getting into all formula, so that it's just easier for me and my family that way. And I'm progressively trying to like give her less breast milk and more formula, but I can tell it's still like affecting in her stomach. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I feel like she's ready.
I have a question then. Are your boobs getting smaller? Because I can't wait for that.
My right boob is like totally what it used to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other boob?
Yeah. So I'm like, I would say I'm like a C cup and then like an E cup.
Oh no. So the other one
is still big, but it's not like, it's not as big as it once was. I mean, there were times, remember that picture I sent you where I was so engorged?
That's true.
That was huge. That was like a small watermelon.
Your boobs were like the size of your head.
Yes. It was ridiculous. So now it's like half the size of that. But, you know, if I haven't like pumped and I'm like a couple of hours in, I'm like, oh my gosh, because just one of my boobs is so big and then the other one is so small. It's super attractive.
Super sexual.
You could be like, you could just play two people. Like, you can role play in the bedroom. You can flip to the right side and pretend you're somebody. And then you flip to the left side and you're a whole new person.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
I'm going to try that. Maybe that's how I get excited to be in the bedroom.
It's like a threesome without the third person.
You're welcome. I'll just put extensions on one side of my head.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. That's a great idea.
This. I need to hear this story.
Okay, I'll work on that for you.
I have a question for both you guys. How, like, since both you guys live away from your parents, you live in the same place as your spouse's parents, but how do you make them feel included as grandparents?
Well, both of my parents are like, they both feel like so horrible that they don't get to see her all the time. I feel like I get child guilt because I'm like trying to like, as being their child, trying to like take care of my parents' needs to see their grandchild because they both feel so bad. But I FaceTime my mom like twice a week where she literally just talks to Emerson like it's not even me. I just like put the phone in front of the camera phone in front of Emerson and she just talks to Emerson. But we try to see them like at least once every month or 2 months. So either they travel here or I travel halfway to meet them because it's about a 7-hour drive. So I don't really do more than 3 with Emerson in the car yet. But we just try to make it work. I know that breaks their hearts that they can't see her as much, but it's kind of what we're dealing with.
So we bought an Amazon Echo Show, which is like, I mean, it's basically like FaceTiming, but it's like an Alexa thing that it has this TV screen. And so I just kind of I'll be like, hey, Alexa, call, Jeff Waddell's Echo Show, and then it'll call them, and then it's just in their kitchen, so I can like walk around and just like talk to them and get stuff done and like hold her, and I don't have to be holding up the phone.
Oh,
and
that's
so,
nice.
Yeah, so then like if they want to call me, then that thing will just start ringing, and I just press like accept, and then I don't have to like FaceTime and try to figure out how to make that work. It's just like sits there on my counter. So that kind of has helped us like get connected that way. And then my mom's come out here quite a few times now. I think she's been out like 3 times. When Evan goes out of town, sometimes she just comes to hang out with me. So that's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of how we connect. Makes it a little bit easier, I think.
A little bit. I'm trying to see if there's any other.
Yeah, we should probably do maybe 1 or 2 more questions and then.
I know, Jade. Kelly asked, do you have tips or tricks on flying with a baby?
I get asked this question a lot.
I saw it in there a lot.
Yeah, because we do travel with Emerson so much, and she's been traveling since she was like almost 3 months old, I think, or 3 months old. And I really just the best advice that I would give, because I don't know, I think each baby is so different, and if you're not breastfeeding, it may be different, but I always try to book my flights around Emerson's nap time. So I know that by the time we get through the airport, we get into the plane, she's ready to just eat and pass out, because then hopefully she'll just sleep on the plane. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've like relied on a lot of just like getting through flights. But but it's really hard for me to just say like, this works and this works because each baby is so different. And I've been on a lot of flights where I've seen other babies break down too, you know, and so just know that a lot of us, if your baby breaks down on a flight and you're traveling, that all the moms are just like feeling for you, I feel like. Yeah. You know, because like, that's, you know, we all just know. We all just are like, oh my God, I feel for you. Or like, I always like smile. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just know exactly what she's feeling. And I don't know. I don't really have like any solid, like this will work for everybody tip. That's just really what I try to do. And I just advice, which I'm sure a lot of you already do, is just make sure you bring extra onesies in your diaper bag when you're traveling in case they have an accident, because I've had that happen. But know that you can travel with your baby. I know a lot of people are worried. Emerson only got sick once. She had this really weird viral infection rash that the doctor thinks she got from traveling, but it was fine. It just went away in a couple days. But I think that if traveling is important to you and your family, or if you have a big vacation or a wedding that you're trying to attend and you're worried about your baby, know that if you know you can make it work. I've traveled a lot by myself too, and you may feel like you're like going to have a heart attack or an anxiety attack, because I've felt that. But I don't know. I feel like everybody should be able to feel like they can travel with their baby. And
I'm terrified to do it.
Everyone's usually super helpful. Like I've been like on the struggle bus where like I'm trying to like fold her stroller up and trying to carry her, and it's a hot mess. And so everyone's so nice. But why are you terrified?
She's still at that point where she's like randomly it has scream fest. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if that scream happens on the plane. And I know it's only a short period of time in the history of my life that she would be screaming on a plane. But it's just, I think it's honestly just the fear of like making other people mad.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like, because I know I'd be able to handle her throughout the entire process. It would just be like, I hate when people are like super mad at me or like really disappointed in me. So I think, you know, if everyone was like, oh my God, shut your baby up, I'd be like just upset.
Well, I had one flight where Emerson was a hot mess, and I just hid under the nursing cover with her the whole time. I put my head under there. I was like, I know that I'm physically still here in the plane, but mentally we're just safe in my nursing
genius.
cover.
I love it. It's like you're in your own little bubble.
Yeah, because I couldn't handle the dirty looks or the stares or people asking me things. So
yeah, Evan is like, he's like, don't worry, Carly. If she starts acting up on a plane, I'll just stand up and just walk her up and down the aisles. And I'm like, okay. And that has made me feel a little bit better, but I don't know how you do it by yourself. Like I think about that and I get so much anxiety.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
It's just one of those things that like we were talking about earlier. I just you just truck through it. Somehow you go on mommy autopilot. You just truck through it because you just got to get through it. What are you going to do? You can't have a meltdown in the middle of the airport either with your child.
Right.
You got to hold it together. So somehow you just do it. But
I'm going to ask you guys each one more question. Well, it's the same question for both of you. What has been something that surprised you about being a mom? And then what has been the most challenging of being a first-time mama?
I think one thing that has surprised me is how quickly, because I'm not a very maternal person. I'm just not. Like, I'm not. And I didn't realize that until I was around kids a lot. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's just not I'm not like, how are you? What do you need? Can I sit with you and play with these toys? Like, that's just not me. And I think that I was surprised how quickly I became maternal with Bella. Like, and how quickly I was so terrified to hold her at the beginning, and how quickly it just became so easy to do. And like, you don't think about it, you just do it. And then you realize like, oh, I'm really good at holding babies. Like, I don't know. I think that surprised me, how I was so like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I don't even know that I like doing this. And now it's like just a part of me that I am good at and that I really like doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jade.
And then
the most surprising, which everyone tells you, is just how fast it goes. Like Emerson's 8 months, and I just cannot believe it. You know,
That's insane.
I know it's gone so fast, and it's the most surprising to me too. Is everyone like I would talk to moms, and I would talk about something when Emerson was like a couple months old, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just don't really remember that part." And I'm like, "How do you not remember?" You know, it's like your whole life. And now, like, there's things like if I try to like look back at photos of Emerson and there's stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I barely remember this. Like, you were that tiny. And I can't, that almost breaks my heart too, but I'm just surprised about how, like, you really don't. It's just crazy. And it's crazy just how fast they learn things. Like, she is just developing into this human, and I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the other question?
the most challenging thing.
Everything.
Yeah, all the things. The no sleep really sucks. Like waking up in the middle of the night and looking over and being like, oh my gosh, you want to eat again? And then we're going to have to put you down again. But then you look at their face and they're so cute and you love them so much that you don't mind it. But that it's really hard, like the next day to still function. And then the next day to still function.
But you just do it.
Yeah. And like when you don't, which you never know what they want. That's frustrating too, because you feel like a sense of helplessness because they're screaming and you change their diaper and you give them food and you burp them and you like try to like move their legs to get out gas and you try every single thing and it's still not working. And you're like, what do I do? That sense of helplessness.
Yeah. The helplessness is...
It's
when
hard.
you don't, when you've gone down the list of everything and nothing's working.
Right. Yeah.
The no sleep thing sounds very, very challenging to me.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
I'm such a grump when I don't get enough sleep, so that'll be
You
fun.
end up kind of getting used to it, though. I honestly, when I have the night nurse here, I am more tired the next day when I have gotten sleep than when I don't. And I think it's because I've gotten more used to not having sleep. It's really odd. Anyway. Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for all of your questions.
Yeah, this was fun.
And if we didn't get to it, we plan on doing these, like having the Q&As like every 6 weeks or a couple of months. And you know, we love how interactive everyone is with us and having the questions. And thank you so much for replying back to us and asking us all the things.
And continue to be lively in our Facebook group because it's just a great place for all of us moms and non-moms, just in women in general.
Thanks for including me, guys.
Can I tell you guys something super cool that happened when I was in New York? So I was there for like a Lord and Taylor's Mother's Day event, and they had people come and do like a meet and greet with us. And there's probably 100 people there, but 3 of the people out of the 100 did not know that I was like, or did not follow me because of The Bachelor. They followed me because of the podcast.
Stop.
And they came just to meet me because of the podcast. And
that's
like,
insane.
I know. It made me like so happy that there's actually people out there loving it so much. So
there are so many people that say that walk by. They'll be like, Carly, we listen to your podcast. I'm like, whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah. Most of the messages I get, it's all like podcast stuff, which is cool because I know that that's like, you know, kind of the goal here is to like connect with moms and connect with women and to like, you know, have educational things and get people's opinion and get people, you know, moms on who have been through it, you know, who people look up to. And so like, it's awesome that people are joining that and listening, you know?
I know it makes me very happy.
Yay. Thank you, listeners. Keep listening. Tell your friends.
But yeah, we have a couple good guests on in the next couple weeks. So I think you guys will really enjoy and
yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk at you next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening and listening to our girl chat. I had fun listening to you guys.
Ditto.
And asking you all the questions.
Ditto.
Although, like, we talk basically every day, we don't always talk about this stuff.
That is very true. I learned things about both of you today.
I did as well.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. And if you aren't a part of our conversations in our Facebook group, it's Babes and Babies. You can find us there. You can also find us on our Instagrams, Twitter, all of that. I actually don't really use Twitter at all, but if you want to follow
it was hard to find you yesterday. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think I've tweeted like 3 times in my life. But if you want to follow my Instagram, I'm at esandos.
Mine is Jade Liz Roper.
Mine is Carly Wad.
The Wad.
The Wad. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.